This is from the Texan. Texas Supreme Court denies Jeff Younger's petition to keep children in Texas in light of California trans refuge law. This one's big. This is the guy who divorces his wife. He has a son. The wife says the son is trans and wants to be a girl, and the dad says that's not true. The mom is just saying that. There are other witnesses who have claimed that the kid wants to be a little boy, acts like a little boy, but whenever the mom comes around, the kid just does whatever the mom tells the kid to do. The mom is going to bring the kid to California. The dad sued, saying California has a non-extradition law. I think it just went into effect right now, right on the 1st, that says that if they chemically castrate, the law doesn't say chemically castrate, it says gender-affirming care.
Gender-affirming care.
But if they provide gender-affirming medical surgeries or treatment to a child, they cannot be extradited by another state who criminally charges them. So my question here is, with all this going on, I want you guys watching, comment, super chat, what do you think happens when a child is taken from one state to another state? Texas says it's illegal to do these surgeries. California says it's illegal for the police to assist in the extradition of a doctor who does these surgeries. What's going to happen if this man's son is chemically castrated and Texas says we're filing criminal charges and California says, haha, we don't care?
Not just we don't care, but come here to stay safe.
Come and take him is what they're going to say. So the question I have is, we're dealing with an extreme moral issue, a man's son. I understand it's a woman's son as well, but the woman is the one who took the kid. If the man took the kid and fled, I would say a woman's child is being taken from her. A man's son is being taken from him, and they are saying they will chemically or potentially surgically castrate his son. Look, what scares me here is Texas will do nothing. California will smile. The federal government will threaten to arrest him and target his family. But what does a man do when his child is taken away from him and they say they're going to sterilize, castrate, neuter, whatever? I think we're heading towards really dangerous territory.
Jeff needs a voice. I think if you guys are into it, we should have him on the show. I don't know if the invitation's ever been offered, but I think before that thing would happen, a surgery or some sort would happen to his child against his will, I would like to let him speak out against it so people understand what he's going through. You have kids? You talk about that
no,
publicly?
I don't have kids.
I think about, I don't even have kids, and I'm defensive about them. Like, it's
what would a man do to protect his child? This is what I was talking about. Two scenarios for a potential civil war breakout, and Texas was the example in both scenarios. A man and a woman are in a relationship. Woman gets pregnant. 8 months later, she says, "You know what? I've been talking to my girlfriends. I don't like this guy. I'm gonna break it off. But this baby's bad news because it means we're in a relationship for 18 years at minimum, and then we're always gonna see each other because of this kid. I know, I'll go to Colorado, get an abortion." Texas says you can't do it. You can't abort a kid at 8 months. Colorado says you can. Is it kidnapping if the woman who's 8 months pregnant, the baby is viable, goes to Colorado to have it terminated? What happens if the father says, you know, that baby is viable, she's going to kill it, please stop them? What happens? Now that's a scenario where it's kind of tough because there is a distinction between a baby that's born and a baby not born, even if the baby was conceived at the exact same moment. A baby at 8 months who is then delivered prematurely and alive, and the woman kidnaps that baby and rushes to Colorado, that's kidnapping and attempted murder and all that stuff. But if the baby's still in the womb, the woman has a right to literally destroy the baby's body, kill it. Then the other scenario is this. California's sanctuary law for chemical castration and genital mutilation surgeries. What happens when Texas says that's illegal, you can't do it, and the parent kidnaps the child, bringing them out of state, and then has the child castrated? Is Texas going to send troopers to California? No. Is the federal government? No. My fear then is that a posse will form, and you're going to see skirmishes and militia action, because I got to tell you, it's one thing when we argue about Antifa versus the Proud Boys, and there's some nebulous ideological goal where a guy's like, America, and other guy's like, America's bad. Now we're going to fight. Yeah, sure. It's another thing when a guy's like, my son was taken from me. I've seen those Harrison Ford movies. Give me back my son. You know, some dude's going to lose it, and his buddies are going to go with him. and they're going to go kick doors in.
It should go to the Supreme Court. I would think the federal government's supposed to step in when there's cross-state issues, and then this is definitely a Supreme Court case, in my opinion.
Well, it went to the Texas Supreme Court, right?
And they said no.
They voted in favor of the mother.
He said he wanted to stop him from going to California because then basically Texas ruled both parents have to sign off on this surgery or medical transition. So then the wife is like, I'm going to go to California. And then he's like, no, don't let her do it. And they were like, no, she can. And he's like, but if she goes, she's going to get the kid the surgery. And they're like, whatever.
Does the mom have sole custody? Is that part of
but
50-50?
Yeah, but once, so I think, the way it worked is that the court said both parents have equal say. But I don't know exactly who has. Custody doesn't necessarily mean how much time you get with the kid. So I don't know about that. The point is, the moment she's in California, Texas law is irrelevant to her. And so is this guy just going to be like, oh, woe is me, I lost my son?
This is like federal law. What is it federally? Can you federally, legally get your kid castrated? That's nuts.
I mean, like, remember that story from Loudoun County? His kid was raped.
Yep.
And no one was listening to him. All of his complaints were going on deaf ears. And so he showed up to the school board meeting and finally made a fuss, and then he got arrested.
They dragged him out.
So they dragged him out, that famous video.
It's definitely culture.
As the school was covering up multiple
and then we find out later,
assaults, physical assaults on children. It was absolutely
certainly.
I want to clarify for you, Ian. Sorry, guys. In August 2021, a Dallas district court granted his ex-wife full custody, but an October 2021 court order agreed to by both parents states that neither parent may treat a child with hormonal suppression therapy, puberty blockers, and or transgender reassignment surgery, if any, without the consent of the parents or court order.
Did she get a court order then?
But California Senate bill prohibits the enforcement of an order based on another state's law authorizing a child to be removed from their parent based on that parent or guardian allowing a child to receive gender-affirming health care.
So she's using her full custody to go under the radar out of the state where she's going to go bypass this Texas law.
And, of course, the left perspective is this poor child, the mother's saving it.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I think it's cultural solutions, like hearing his voice. Like, you need tens and hundreds of thousands of people retching in horror at what could happen to a small child because of what.
And this is not the first time it happened. This happened in Canada as well, where a father was punished for even talking to the media about a situation where the state came in and said, we're going to transition your child. He said, and a mother said, we're going to transition our child. He said no. He was arrested because he spoke out about this. It's crazy.
I made a tweet. I said, how do you think humans would react to finding out that not only are we not alone in the universe, but that we're effectively livestock for an alien species? How would humans react to that? Maybe the reason aliens haven't revealed themselves to humans because humans are more reasoning than, say, chickens. So this is what I was thinking about. We got chickens. We take the roosters out because the roosters cause problems. In chicken society, roosters battle for dominance and then get to bang all the chickens. And then they pair up in certain numbers. Like one rooster will have like 6 hens, one will have 8. But you got to have a good amount of hens for each rooster, otherwise they fight too much. But to the chickens, this is normal life. We don't like their normal life. I don't like the roosters fighting. No human does. So we remove one of the roosters if they're a problem and they won't stop playing by the rules. And right now, Roberto Jr. is king of that chicken city with like 30 ladies. We, as the people controlling the animals, dictate. There's also, what's it called? Like a capon or something like that. You can take the rooster if you want it for meat and you can castrate it. And then you get basically chicken meat. You know, rooster meat's tough. You got to pressure cook it. But if you, is that what it's called? Something like that?
Capons are chickens without
capons.
testicles, yes.
Yeah, so you take the rooster that you cut open its back where it's their inside and you remove them or you whatever. So I'm thinking about this, and it's like the state coming in to someone and saying, we're taking your kids and we're going to surgically alter them is exactly like what we do to goats when they tie the rubber band around the nuts so they eventually fall off. Like, we own them. They're livestock. Now, I don't think this is actually anything to do with aliens. It's that the governments and the elites are treating us like chickens, like livestock.
They did it to Saddam Hussein. I mean, if they want something, and I don't know who they are exactly, but when people that are attempting to control Earth,
power.
Yeah, I think there's groups of people that are trying to vie for power. They will just, go out and take
you
it
gotta
for
wonder,
the most part.
when you have people going up on stage at a TED Talk saying, there's too many people on this planet and we have to reduce population growth. What kind of thing would they be willing to do if they really believe this? You guys saw that Paul, what's his name, Ehrlich? The population bomb guy who keeps saying there's too many people and then it never turns out to be true.
Yeah, Jane Goodall was just talking about it too. Said all these problems would be avoided if we had the population that we had 500 years ago, which is just a bland, generic statement, probably not totally accurate. But indicating 500 million people about.
I mean, there is some truth to you will own nothing and you will be happy, in that if you don't know, you can't regret not having it, right? Like, I can't teleport. I don't wake up crying that I can't teleport. I never could. There are airplanes. You can buy a ticket day of, get on a plane and fly somewhere. When the flights get canceled, we get angry about it, you know? So it's like when I was flying for the holidays and the plane gets canceled, I was just like, dude, I'm not going to scream and cry over like a busted plane because the giant metal skybird someone else, like all of humanity is working towards building, like can't service me in a single day. Where it's a luxury, I get it. But the idea of these elites is that take these things away from people, take away their knowledge of these things, and they won't be unhappy.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to
I'm
do.
thinking about that with eating cockroaches and stuff, the bug narrative. Like, if we ate meat growing up, so we know, like, if I had grown up eating cockroaches fried and watching my mom do it, I wouldn't even think twice about eating cockroaches. And that we're the generation where they're trying to change. I hate saying they, it's so generic, but where, you know, economic forum people that think it's a lot of it is Klaus. Like, Klaus, you know it's you, bro. Like, you've been doing this since the 70s, man.
They're a cult.
And especially since like 2000 or something.
I'm just imagining these people are chickens themselves, thinking everyone else are chickens and that they're smarter chickens than the other chickens. I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You think you do. You're wrong. Science changes. What Elon Musk talks about this. We need more people. And he's right. Think about anything. There's a can of Steez over there, green tea. I see Luke is drinking. The can was made by a canning company. The printer ink or whatever is put onto the can is made by a different company. The drink itself is made by a different company. It takes such a tremendous amount of specialty to make a single item in this, like, let alone a phone. I mean, the plastics, the metals, the glass, all of the different specialties requires experts in all of these different fields. If the population of the planet dropped to 500 million, you would lose things like, you would lose plastics.
Cobalt. Where are you going to get your electric vehicle batteries?
No, bro. An electric car couldn't exist on a population of 500 million people on this planet.
Yeah.
I just don't see it as being possible. Electric cars are such complex machines. Maybe some rudimentary kind of thing. You know, you can get a handful of people, but who's going to mine the copper? Who's going to then fashion the electric motors? Who's going to generate the energy? All of the more people we have on the planet, or I should say in existence, because we can leave the planet too, the more specialties there are, the more we can do things. To put it very simply, when we talk about inventions and the crazy things, we have a levitating UFO sitting here right in front of Ian. All that really happens is some dude goes, I figured out how to make a thing that will create magnetism if you put electric current through it. Then someone else goes, hey, I can buy those from you and then put an axle in it and it'll spin that axle and drive a wheel. The electric motor company is different from the car company. So basically what's happening is tons of people are making things that on their own are pointless, and then other people are connecting things and making them do other things. Less people means less technology. I'll put it much more simply. The Roman Empire had indoor plumbing. After the fall of the Roman Empire, they just didn't have it anymore. So in Europe, after the Dark Ages, they would just take dumps in holes in the floor that would flop to the ground, or they would chuck them out the window in buckets.
1,000 years after. That's
1,000 years after they had indoor plumbing in Rome. 1,000 years later, they're like, you just forgot how to do it.
Yeah.
Now imagine,
and that's not even less people. That's more people.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine what was in the Library of Alexandria.
Man. By a time machine.
Again, I do believe that there was kind of more advanced civilizations that we don't know about. But I think history is just as fake as our news today, and we have to realize that the stories we're being told are being told for a very specific reason. A lot of the people that are in charge, a lot of them are eugenicists, a lot of them are narcissists, a lot of them are control freaks, and they're trying to get control of every aspect of your life. And we have to remember the freedoms that we give give up today, our grandchildren will never know of tomorrow. I forgot who said that. Someone else a lot smarter than me actually said that. But we're living in a world where our freedoms are slowly and surely just being taken away. Technology, innovation is creeping into our society, and it's slowly eviscerating any kind of anonymity, any kind of privacy, any kind of secrecy that we previously had before is gone. We have satellites, we have cell phones, we have cameras, we have facial recognition, watching every one of our moves, tracking our purchases, tracking where we're going, tracking when we're taking a dump. We're truly moving towards a society that is absolutely controlled by these population control freaks. And I think we're at a crossing point, especially right now. I think right now we're at a very crucial turning point in world history, especially when it comes to the larger experiment that is the United States and its larger freedoms. And it could either go total freedom, total slavery. And I think that decision is going to be made very soon. I think it's going to be made in 2023, to be honest with you guys.
It's important to remember that right now is all there is. That time is something humans made up to get places at the same moment, but it's always right now. And we are changing this right now reality constantly. So let that be some motivation to get up there and move, baby.
That's my analysis. What do you think? What's your analysis and assessment of where we are as a society and where we're moving forward?
I think culturally, I'm really scared for what's coming next, just based on the stuff that I've had to see through running Lives of TikTok. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I'd rather all the technology we have and live now with all that, even with all the bad parts that comes with it, than to have lived hundreds of years ago without what we have now. So yeah, I think we just have to be more vigilant with our online security. And yeah, whenever they talk about eating the bugs, I literally go out and buy a steak. I'm like, I'm never going to eat the bugs, and I'm just going to eat steak harder.
But they're implementing it in places like Australia, where 1,000 schools are now forcing their children to eat the bugs.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.